Hi, I'm G.K. Coleman, that's Chuck Kaplinski, and we're here for another week of talking about film. This week I happened to see a lot of different things. First up, I wanted to ask you about a film that we haven't really had a chance to cover yet, Silver Linings Playbook. Oh, first of all, I want to talk to you about your time at the Critics' Choice Awards, because we were gone this past Saturday. So tell us about that.
I'm fortunate enough to belong to the Broadcast Film Critics Association, and they put on the Critics' Choice Awards, in which I'm fortunate enough to get to vote, and then I can go to the show. It was last Thursday, and I had a great time. Met a lot of fabulous people. It's interesting because they have a few more categories than usual groups. So it's kind of like the Golden Globes in that they also have awards for comedies and things of that nature. And Silver Linings Playbook, which I know you wanted to talk about, did very, very well there as far as Best Comedy, which I don't think it's a comedy. It also got Best Actor and Best Actress for a comedy or musical. Again, I don't think it's a comedy, but still to have their efforts recognized. It also got Best Ensemble. So I'm hoping that
I would agree with all of those.
I hope that bodes well for the Oscars, which are going to be in about a month. So we'll have to wait and see. But no, it was a great time.
Who was your favorite person to see there? I know you go every year, so you probably see a repeat of the same people every year, but still.
It's interesting to see them when they're not on the screen, because I think you get a sense more of how these people are really like. I was fortunate enough to meet Mr. Spielberg again this year, and he's just the nicest man. Other people who I have talked to have met him have said the same thing. When you meet him, it's like you're an old friend he hasn't seen in years. I mean, he takes the time to actually talk to you. He's genuine. He's engaged. So it's always good to say hi to him. Of course, I'm a big fan of George Clooney. I was able to talk to him and tell him a story about my stepson, who mistook him for Cary Grant in an old movie we were watching once. My stepson said, "I didn't know George Clooney made black and white movies."
He only made one, to my recollection, which was Good Night and Good Luck.
And then, of course, that runs counter then to meeting Tommy Lee Jones, who, was polite enough but gives one-word answers to any questions, and lets you know that he'd rather be somewhere else. But it was a good evening.
Okay. So the first film I want to talk about today is, of course, Silver Linings Playbook. I'll take over the summation for this one. Basically, you have this guy whose name is going to escape me at the moment.
Pat.
Pat
Jr.
Yes, Pat Jr. And he, previous to the film's opening, was in a mental institution because he did something, which I will not reveal. That's part of the charm of the film. I'm not going to reveal why he was in the mental institution. That's for the audience to figure out. Pat Jr. was in the mental institution. He is let out by his mother, who thinks it's time for him to come home.
8 months.
8 months. And he has a goal to talk to his wife again because of something that happened between the two of them before he was institutionalized. And he meets this woman during a dinner, almost like he's being set up for a dinner date. Would you say that?
He's totally being set up for a dinner date.
Yeah, because that's what I consider.
He's totally set up.
Julia Stiles and this other actor whose name escapes me completely invite Pat over for a dinner date to meet Julia Stiles' sister, played by Jennifer Lawrence. Both seemingly have this odd connection in that they both are messed up in different ways, and they're like oil and water at first. They don't mix well at all, and it's just remarkable to watch these two kind of slowly figure their way into each other's lives, and it's a really great film, in my opinion. I really love Jennifer Lawrence. I forget what her character's name is. And I loved Bradley Cooper's Pat. He's a bit manic, but,
he has a right to be.
That comes with the territory of being bipolar. And you learn to appreciate his manic nature because it also leads to some very easy and interesting truths because of how he just doesn't have a filter after pretty much 5 minutes of talking to him. Doesn't have a filter at all. Robert De Niro, who plays Pat Sr., recently lost his job, and the only ththing he clings on to anymore is his beloved Philadelphia Eagles. He wants to spend time with his son, but his son is more focused on getting a chance to have a conversation with his wife to try and fix things. And I really love this film. It's great. If I had seen it before our top 10 list, I probably would have put it on there.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence's name in the film is Tiffany. It was at the top of my list for last year. I love this film. You know, he says something, the Cooper character says something about 2/3 of the way through the film to Tiffany. He says, maybe we know something that no one else does. And he's referring to the experiences that they've had to go through. She's only 24, she's a widow. Her police officer husband was tragically killed, which sends her into an emotional spiral. And I thought that was interesting, that, you know, maybe we know something. Maybe they are better prepared to deal with things, having gone through what they've gone through.
Yeah, I got a sense of maybe we're the normal ones and they're the weirdos.
Oh, you mean as far as him saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whether that's true or not, that's definitely his approach, and I think that helps him.
Yeah.
I think also there's a sincerity to his role in that he recognizes he has a problem. And even though he makes mistakes, he's very sincere about wanting to get a handle on it. He's very sincere about wanting to live a normal life again. And that gets you on his side, even though he drives you nuts at times.
Yeah, he drives you nuts because he's trying to get a conversation with wife. And
it's like, dude, move on.
At a certain point in the film, you're like, I don't care about the wife, but I do care about the fact that you're improving yourself. Keep going.
That he's still dealing with it, yeah. And De Niro hasn't been this good in ages.
I agree.
Because he too has problems. You know, he's been banned from the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium for fighting. Okay, I mean, you know, he's got his own issues. And him, I think over the course of the film, he realizes in looking at his son that he didn't do what he was supposed to do. It's the whole, you know, sins of the father being visited upon the son.
Yeah.
And he comes to that realization, which I think was, you know, very subtle and very touching. I also want to mention Chris Tucker.
Yeah, Chris Tucker's
he's great.
Miles better than he was in Rush Hour 3.
Well, you know, it shows that you got to, you know, I think we talked about Bruce Willis earlier this year as far as getting actors out of their comfort zone. And when you do that, sometimes it pays off in heavy dividends. And here I thought it was great.
Yeah, the thing is, in my opinion, whenever I'm watching a movie, the thing is, if you give the actor the right material and you give the actor something that they can either personally feel like it's nothing like them or personally feel like it's so close to home that I have to play it this way.
Yeah.
Then you've got something there.
Yeah, he's a guy who Pat Jr. meets while he's institutionalized and bounces in and out of his life as he attempts to get out of this institution. He's very concerned.
It's literally in and out.
Yeah, on more than a couple occasions. He's very concerned about his hair. His hair is very important,
Yeah.
which is one of the funnier bits in the film. And Lawrence, if she wasn't a star already, she's a genuine star now. She's got a scene in the film which is a star-making scene if I've ever seen one.
Which one are you referring to?
She comes to the house after Pat has been thrown out of the Eagles game. The father is blaming her for the Eagles having lost.
And she's like, okay, let's talk about this.
And she sets everybody straight.
Yeah, she's like, okay, let's talk about this. I don't really love this game, but this.
She puts everyone in their place, and she commands the room. And when you can say that with De Niro in that sequence, you're saying something. She's fantastic in the film.
She really
I
is.
hope she wins the Best Actress award at the Oscars. I think she deserves it.
She has, I think, something for me that really took me in this film is that she has such a level of control. And Bradley Cooper is kind of the opposite.
A level of control? She sweeps the dinner table off at the diner doing her Jack Nicholson imitation. She's in his face all the time.
Yes, but she is controlled in her... She's not controlled in her anger. That's off the rails. But when she needs to make a point, when she needs to point out somebody's fault, including her own...
She does put herself under the microscope. She does.
She does. And I think being able to take a step back and say, even though you have all these problems, I'm just as messed up as you are. And you calling me crazy doesn't make me any crazier than you.
Well, again, that I think gets us to sympathize with her because, again, you see her, like Pat Jr., trying to get a handle on this.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. And that's another thing I liked about the film. The ending, even though it is cliched,
yeah,
I didn't mind because the film does not make it easy for these two people to get to the silver lining that they're trying to get. There are plenty of difficulties, and they earn it, and that's what I like about it.
The ending is completely superb for me. I was on pins and needles trying to figure out
how they were going to pull all this off.
Can they pull this off because so much is at risk.
Yeah, and
you know, she's angry during the end of the film.
Yeah, when she says to her sister, "You are killing me," was a brilliant moment because she meant it, and she was mad. She was almost crying. Yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah. It really just speaks to me on so many levels. You know, that we all have things that we're messed up about, and this is an example of two people trying to fix themselves.
Yeah, and you say, you know, we're all messed up about things. But again, those two characters, so many of us are messed up about things and we live in denial for so long.
I agree.
It is so brave and so sympathetic in these two characters facing this, even though they don't want to.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to, but he knows he has to.
Yeah.
And having to deal with that. And I think, as you say, in that's how it speaks to us all.
Yeah. And the weird thing is, I found myself saying that if I were a female, I would want the hair that Jennifer Lawrence has.
Yeah.
Because it's half messed up and half glamour all the time.
She is incredibly sexy in the film. And not just because of her hair, but because of her strength. Despite everything she's dealing with, she's very strong. She is very sexy, very attractive. I want your hair.
You want my hair?
I want your hair, yeah.
That'd be quite a feat.
That would be quite a change.
An incredible feat. Speaking of incredible feats, I also want to talk about The Impossible. Now,
wow.
If there's somebody who pulls off a performance, it's Naomi Watts.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
Oh my God.
A deserved Oscar nomination. She deserved it completely. In a film that I don't think a lot of people have seen.
Right. You want to tell the viewers about that?
Oh, well, it's pretty simple. The tsunami that hit the Pacific Rim in 2004 is the focal point here. Watts and the ever-reliable Ewan McGregor are a married couple. There are 3 kids and them. They're vacationing there. I believe was it Thailand?
Yeah.
Thailand, the tsunami hits, and the family is separated. And the film is basically about them trying to survive this and reunite, because miraculously, all 5 of these people survive. And miraculously, I mean, I don't think I'm giving anything away. You know, it all turns out relatively okay, but just the arduous journey that they undergo and that the director puts us through, it was rough.
Yeah, I recall watching, I think it's the first 15 minutes of this film, and everything's normal, everything's fine. You know, they're lighting up little paper lanterns and having a...
It takes place at Christmas time, so they're celebrating Christmas.
Family moments. And, you know, they're in the pool and the wave comes and you're like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. And what I thought was going to happen when that wave hit is, okay, we're now going to flash to, them at the hospital, or them, doing something at the hospital where, people are getting mended and tended to, and, the screaming, no. They keep you right in that wave.
Right.
They keep you right in that wave. And I actually paused the movie because I was watching it, and I had to stop and say, oh, I got to look away for a minute, because a tree branch hit her rib and just scraped it to all hell.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this movie is brutal. But in seeing how brutal it was, I had to continue watching.
Well, the director does a fantastic job of putting you there. I mean, not only during, but in the aftermath of this as well. I mean, he just puts you into this. It is a true disaster. I mean, we use that term disaster films to talk about some rather silly things.
Yeah.
This is the real deal.
Yeah.
Not only is her ribs, but she also gets a severe leg injury as well that he plays out in graphic detail.
Yeah.
And also we have a flashback then at the end, which shows how she is twisted around when that wave first hits and stuck in that vortex.
Yeah.
Poor Miss Watts, I mean, she was really put through the ringer here.
Yeah, she was.
But then that evolves, to the next step of the film, in which the oldest son, played by Tom Holland, has to step up and take care of Mom.
And I didn't like him in the beginning. I didn't like him in the beginning because he was such a. It wasn't that he was a brat.
He's not a brat.
He was just mean.
How is he mean?
I mean, you know, he basically was a cast-off. He was going through the pre-teenage phase, and he was just not wanting to spend time with his brothers, or he was just a typical teenager, and you know, I think the scene that I point to when I say he was just weird, and I know it was because he was scared. I realize that. In the infirmary, when his mom is coughing up fluids and things, he's just telling her to stop it, and he doesn't really understand the gravity of the situation that's going on within the film. And it bothered me, because I was like, wouldn't you be more sympathetic if you're... I know you're I don't know.
Come on. You know, I don't buy this at all. I want you to think back to Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close. That was an irritating kid.
Okay, yes.
Okay. This kid is nothing like that at all.
No, he's not.
Nothing like it at all.
No, he's not, but I don't know. I think his level of fear irritated me a little bit. Well, not his level of fear.
The entire world has been wiped out. I'd be pissing my pants too. Are you kidding me?
He was just angry, and I was like, there's no...
I'd be angry too.
I don't know. It just bothered me for some reason. He was almost like commanding his mother not to be the way everybody else was. And it's like, it's not something you can fix. And that's what I was trying to get at, is that he kept thinking that, you know, what was happening was something he could fix.
Part of the film is about his maturity. Part of the film is how he becomes a young man through this experience.
I agree.
You know, we talk about the disaster thing, but in my mind, what makes it a great film and what makes it a pertinent film are the little moments in which you do these small kindnesses. You know, one of the moments that I can understand, and you didn't mention, but I could almost understand where you're coming from, is as they're flitting along, him and Mom find a little kid who's been completely abandoned, and he's stuck in a tree. And she says, we got to help him. And the kid says, no, 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 no. We got to take care of ourselves. And her teaching him at this incredible moment, no, this is when you step up. You've got to help people in this situation. Suppose that was your little brother. Him learning this. Also, the hospital, where he reunites the kid with a father, is a key moment. Because he understands at that point. When he sees them, when he sees what he's done, that he's reunited them, he understands what his mom's been trying to teach him. I mean,
it's a beautiful moment.
That's a great moment. And then he finds the kid that they helped. He witnesses him find his father. That's an incredible moment too. You know, and also even the moment where the guy whose phone battery is running out and lets McGregor call. I mean, those are the moments that you need to take away from this and remember if, God forbid, you ever find yourself in a situation.
That's what you do.
You know, that's what you do. That's what makes us human. That's what keeps our humanity when everything else has just gone out the window.
I agree. I agree completely. And there's another film that does that, but I can't talk about it because I want to wait for you to see it.
No, go ahead and talk about it.
No.
It's your show. It's all right.
Fine, we're going to have to get you to see this film.
Well, I'm going to see it. I just don't have any time.
The film...
We could talk about Oscar nominations.
We could go... Let's go there.
Okay.
Let's go there because it's safer because the Oscars are coming up.
Right, and we haven't had a chance to talk about this. Any big surprises for you? Or disappointments? Or
No, not really in terms of disappointments other than... this is a disappointment that everybody names, and that's Argo. Ben Affleck not getting director. I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all.
This is really shaping up to be an interesting story. You know, they keep flashing back to, and I didn't realize it had been that long, but they talk about, I don't know if you've heard this, but Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
Last film to win Best Picture without the director even being nominated. And this is suddenly shaping up to be like that. I mean, Argo takes Best Picture at the Critics' Choice Awards. Argo takes Best Picture at the Golden Globe Awards. Now, the people who vote for the Golden Globes and the Critics' Awards don't vote for the Oscars, so it might not have any connection at all, but I'll bet you people who do vote for the Academy Awards after these two wins are saying, maybe I need to go back and look at this again.
Yeah.
You know, I bet that there are people throwing their screeners in again to take one more look at this, because this could be a huge upset.
I'm betting Argo wins it. I'm putting my money down on Argo.
It's going to be close. You know, this is
It's
the year.
between Argo and Silver Linings Playbook. Can we just say that?
Well, you can't discount Lincoln, though. You can't discount Lincoln. This is the year, you know, I've been saying this for years, that they need to put the results of the voting on the screen for the top 3. And this is the year where I want to see that, because you want to see how close these 3 films are.
Yeah.
I think that Zero Dark 30 for a while was the front runner, but the controversy surrounding that film is killing it.
Yeah, it's just sinking it.
Yeah, and as they say, I think they said the average age of an Academy member is 60.
Yeah,
They're going to have a hard time with that film.
One film that they won't have a hard time with is one that's also nominated for Best Foreign Film, and that's Amour. You have not seen Amour, so I'm going to do you a courtesy and just avoid talking about that.
Well, you know, I do know what it's about. Here's my question, though, about that. Is that one going to hit too close to home for them?
I would say yes.
You know,
I would say
maybe
yes.
they'll just not vote for it because, you know, it's just too rough to deal with.
I would say that it's going to follow the pattern that the Academy usually follows, which is give that Best Foreign Film, and then
Which it will win, yeah.
side that out of Best Picture. I also think that Emmanuelle Riva, I think that's her name.
Yes, the French actress.
The French actress who is also nominated for Best Actress. She has a good shot. She has an incredibly good shot. I know you haven't seen the film.
We'll see.
But she has an incredibly good
We'll
shot.
see. You know, back to the Best Picture thing real quick, though,
Yeah.
before you go, and I forgot what I was going to say now. You know, that's why I think, I'm wondering if they are going to side for a feel-good film. You know, because I think that's what is in Silver Linings Playbook favor.
Yeah.
Are we at that point where
Both
we need
are
that
feel-good
right
films,
now?
if you think about it. Argo's a feel-good film.
Sure it is. Yeah, it is. But I'm just wondering, because sometimes that's what they'll gravitate towards when things are going bad outside, you know, in real society.
Okay. So who do you think of the nominations is going to get Best Supporting Actress?
Best Supporting Actress. Wow. I'd like to think Sally Field, but I think it's going to be Anne Hathaway.
I think it's going to be Anne Hathaway as well.
Personally, I just don't think she's in the movie enough.
Yeah.
That's my problem with her. She's got one scene. I mean, it's a great scene, but you know, they're basing it all on that one moment. Then again, if you look back at Oscar history and you look at the film like Network, there was an actress named Beatrice Straight who was on screen for 8 minutes. She wins the Best Supporting Actor Actress Oscar. So there's no rhyme or reason to it, but it's going to be one or two of those.
Yeah. What about Jessica Chastain for lead actress?
I don't know. I fear that she's going to get caught up in the Zero Dark 30 backlash. And for my money, I'm sorry, she's a very talented actress. I don't think she gave the best performance of the year.
You think that was Jennifer?
I think it was either Jennifer Lawrence. I think it was Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, I'm sorry, Jessica Chastain, she goes from A to B, and that's about it. She's mad the entire film. I don't really see much of a
transformation.
Not much of a transformation, not much of a range here. And again, I'm not knocking the actress. She's a great actress. But in that role, I don't know.
I also think Helen Hunt has a shot at it for the Sessions. If anybody has a shot, it's Helen Hunt.
Well, is she a supporting actress
Yes.
now? So.
She's not lead. She's
Okay,
supporting.
so we're going back and forth here. That would be interesting if she were to pull that off.
Okay. The other category that I'm most concerned with, I guess, is lead. And to me, it feels like a shutout. Just give it to him. Just give it to Daniel Day-Lewis. Let it be done. It'll be his third, if I'm not mistaken.
It would be his third. He would be the only actor to win 3 Oscars in the lead actor category. We've had other 3-time winners, but he'd be the only guy to pull off 3 Best Actor Oscars in history. And I think it's going to happen. Katharine Hepburn won 4 in the Best Actress category. Nicholson has 3. One of them, though, came in the Best Supporting Actor category. You know, if you can't give it to Lewis, I think Washington gave an incredible performance.
I want Washington to get it. I
He just
really
did a great job in that film. The film is flawed, but he is not.
Yeah, exactly. I really think that Daniel Day-Lewis has a great shot because his cadence changed for this. His face, you know, completely
He transforms himself, you know.
He's really just distinctly brilliant at it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know what it is. And he also appears to be, in my opinion, ageless, because every time I see him, he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting. They say he's made 5 movies in 10 years, you know? And it must just take so much out of him when he makes a film, because he invests himself so much that he must need to, you know, just kind of get away from things for a while. Best Supporting Actor category, though, I think is interesting, because every guy who's nominated has already won.
Who's in the Best Supporting Actor category?
Alan Arkin, he had already won for Little Miss Sunshine.
Right.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, he had already won for Capote.
Yeah.
De Niro has won twice. Tommy Lee Jones has won for The Fugitive. And who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting someone who's also already won. So, I mean, everyone is... Oh, Christoph Waltz, who won for Inglourious Bastards. So
now,
everyone's won.
Who's going to take that? That's
The problem is they're all deserving. You could give it to any one of them, and I'd say, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, to me, that's the only category in the entire program that's a toss-up.
It's always the most crowded, most interesting category to me. Year in, year out, if you go back and look at it, it's like, wow. You know, I think that Jones has a definite shot. Maybe as a welcome back to actually doing a good film, give it to De Niro. You know, maybe you give it to Hoffman because you want to honor the master, and it's the only category where it has a shot.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, but Waltz is great.
I would say if you were going to give it to somebody, give it to Waltz.
You know, and again, you can't really argue with any of them.
Best director, though, who do you think should nail it?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, it's wide open at this point.
Would you give it to Spielberg? I know you like him, but...
you know, how can you argue with the work? You know, I thought it was going to be Bigelow, because I really thought initially Zero Dark 30 was going to sweep this thing, but with her not there, I mean, in my mind, it's a wide open race.
I would say if you're going to give it to anybody, I would give it to... And this seems a bit of a cheat, but David O. Russell.
You know, I don't think it's a cheat at all. He's been there before. He was there with The Fighter. It's a deeply personal film, Silver Linings Playbook.
How so?
Because he said that he made it for his son. His son is autistic. His son, there's 2 moments in the movie where the kid from across the street runs across the street and says, "Can I do a story for these?"
Oh, yeah!
That's his son.
Oh!
That is his son. So there is that personal connection there. So it wouldn't be out of the realm to give it to him, and I'd love to see it.
I would love it. Did he win for The Fighter?
He did not, no. He did not win.
I would give it to him for this, though.
Yeah, that, and I would love, like I said, I would love that. But, you know, Lincoln, Spielberg, that career, I mean, when you think of the giants like Ford, Hawks, I mean, they've won 4 times. He's won twice for direction. He got 1 for Best Picture. So it's not out of the realm to give it to him here.
I would say the only one where it's dead obvious who should get it, other than Best Actor, is Best Animated Film. I would give it to Wreck-It Ralph.
I think so, too.
That's just me. Because there's something in that animated film that just pulls you.
Yeah, yeah. It somehow steps apart from all the others.
And I'm just going to say, I'm going to say this on camera, Brave is a piece of crap.
Yeah, I don't like Brave either.
I'm not saying that because there's a female protagonist that is bad. No, the story is weak.
The artistry is there. It's a beautiful film to look at.
Artistry is there, but
you're right, there's no story.
The story is completely weak.
Yeah, I'm with you.
My own sister, who loves things Pixar, all things Pixar, hated Brave.
It's not there.
Because it's just not there. And the fact that it was nominated at all is a slap in the face. But at least as a consolation prize, you got Paranorman and Frankenweenie.
I liked Rise of the Guardians better than I liked Brave, and it did not get recognized, unfortunately. I thought that was a good film.
I think I'm happy that Frankenweenie
Me too.
Got it. I think that if Tim Burton won, I would not be upset.
No, not at all. And only because it's such a loving homage to the old Frankenstein films.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I liked about it.
It really is. And if there's another animated film that I wish Tim Burton had gotten a win for, I would definitely have to say that it would be Nightmare Before Christmas, because that's
a long time ago. Well, that's before they even had the category.
Yeah, before they even had the category.
So,
yeah. I think that's all we have for this week. So until next time, me and Chuck will see you later.